My name's Har Megiddo, and today I'm going to give you some tips about how to write custom music for commercials. Let's get to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is that when you are creating a custom music, typically a lot of the times you're going to have my first tip is the fact that when you make your first submission to the videographer, typically it's going to be declined. They're going to say, hey, we like the direction, we don't like the direction, this is what you need to change. And so you can't be offended, first off, when you get into your commercial custom music, because a lot of the times that first submission, that first draft will be rejected. So today I'm working on a session for JoAnn's Fabrics, and I am doing some custom music for their spring commercial that's going to be airing. I've got the commercial going on right up here. And I'm on my, I guess, fifth draft, maybe fifth or sixth, maybe eighth draft of this commercial submission. So I've given them a couple different options, and I'll play you right now a couple of the options that I'm going to give you. And if you can hear me, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound. And please like and put a comment down below and tell me where you're from. So if you're joining in right now, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear. And here's the first submission, one of the drafts that they gave me. Commercial's right up there. So that was the first submission that I did. They liked that. The big thing is the fact that when you're doing custom work, a lot of times they'll come back and say, yes, no, we don't like this, we like this, we don't like that. And so what you pretty much have to do is you have to just keep going. You can't just be like, this is the best work I've ever done, which is how you feel typically when you make your first submission. So right now, they came back to me and said they like this version that I'm about to play for you, but they said that they want the guitars brighter. I'm going kind of for this is a spring commercial, so the guitar tone that I'm trying to go for is something along the lines of something that's very Beach Boys-esque, some spring reverb, some slapback delay, and I've got American Fender Strat, and I'm giving it a really bright tone. They said they wanted it brighter. I had tried the hollow body. They said that they didn't think it was bright enough, so I'm going to try to find an amplifier that's going to really give this a bright tone with the Kemper Profiler. So thank you for the thumbs up, and let me play you this version of the this is a second demo that I gave them, and this is the one that they said is the front runner, but they want brighter guitars. They said they like that version better. For some reason, my computer is glitching out because I am running so many programs. Let me just go ahead and share this live broadcast. Once again, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And let me know where you're from. Sorry, I'm just sharing this post. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so let me get back to this. Let me close out some of these programs. So because I'm running at a low buffer rate, let's see here. So basically, I need to kind of freeze some of this. While I'm freezing this, I'll give you kind of, so working with videographers, I guess my big second tip would be, it's all about communication with your videographer. A lot of times when you're doing custom work, they're going to give you, maybe some sample tracks of what they like, what they don't like, and it's your responsibility to listen to those tracks and try to understand what the videographer is actually wanting from those sample tracks. It may be just the tone that they're looking for. It may be the actual beat that they're looking for, but it's your responsibility to understand how they're communicating and how the videographer is wanting to, because you're basically trying to get inside their mind. So you have to really work on your communication skills to be successful writing for commercials, because when you're dealing with videographers, they're trying to fit everything for the video, and you have to understand what they're looking for and then turn their ideas and their thoughts and their suggestions into an actual product that's going to fit their commercial. So right up here, you can see that's a sample edit of the commercial. That's not the final edit, but it kind of gives me a roadmap as to what they're kind of looking for. Another thing to take into consideration when you're writing custom music for commercials is the fact that there's going to be a voiceover right in the middle. And so, like, if you're thinking about your mix, your voiceover is going to sit right in the middle of the mix, and so your music needs to be kind of to the side and not necessarily get in the middle. So, like, if you have a lot of the, I guess, the main elements or any kind of lead sounds, you kind of want to maybe duplicate them and pan them hard left and hard right, so you leave some space in the middle for your voiceover. Okay, so they like this version, but right now I'm using the Kemper. They wanted a really bright guitar. If you're joining me, please like and subscribe, and thanks for tuning in. So they came back to me and said, if you're tuning in just right now to this live broadcast, or if you're tuning in to the rebroadcast, thank you so much for joining. My name is Har Megiddo. I'm an EDM producer and DJ, and I do custom work for video as well. And so this is a tutorial, tips and tricks on how to use, how to create custom music for video. So right now I'm going to try, I got some notes back from the videographer saying that they wanted brighter guitars. So right now I'm just going to create some brighter sounding guitars. I'm using, typically your bridge pickup's going to be a little bit brighter when you're recording guitars. I was recording with kind of like the neck pickup and the middle pickup, but they came back and said they like this version. The guitars need to be brighter, and so I'm really going for like a brighter sound. So right now I'm going through this. Let's see, what is this amp? This is a Klonstone 3-stone buy. I don't really know what amp this is, but it's from the Amp Factory. I love the Kemper because it has so many different amps that it can give me. For someone like myself, it can really give me so many different tones. And so with that, right now, let's go ahead and record this guitar part with a brighter sound. And notice that I have some slapback delay and some spring reverb to give it that Beach Boy type sound. So that's the riff that I wrote, and so let's go ahead and write that. Let's turn on the click. up. Something's glitching out. I need to kind of freeze some more of this stuff down here. I think that if I freeze it in Ableton Live, a lot of times, here's a little tip for Ableton Live. If you ever record or want to record, I suggest the program Ableton Live. So what I'm doing right now is Ableton allows you to basically freeze your plugins and create almost like an audio source within your program so that it's not using a lot of the CPU power from your computer, because right now I'm trying to get a really low buffer rate to record this in so that it is right on the click. So that is just another producer trick if you are recording guitars. Alright, so as that's freezing, you know, like I said, this is like my 5th edit if you're just joining for the first time of this track that I'm writing for JoAnn's Fabric. And the videographers came back, they were like, we want something that sounds like straight out of 90s hip-hop. A lot of the songs they sent me was like a Moby track, some more like, I guess, some hip-hop tracks, but also some like guitars that were really kind of like Beach Boy vibe-esque. And so I really tried to create something. I listened to a lot of Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff to create, you know, kind of like this like beat. I've got this kind of like 90s beat in the background with these Beach Boy guitar vibe. And so, let's see. Okay, so let's try that one more time. I messed up. Here we go. Alright, messed up again. So part of it is learning your own part, because I wrote this a couple of days ago, and I'm screwing it up. Here we go. That was, once again, I'm a perfectionist. That was a terrible take. If you give me a second, I need to mute some of this stuff to kind of chill out. I don't know what is causing my computer to glitch out so much. Maybe if I need to mute all this stuff. Sometimes when you deselect stuff, it will cut down on the CPU, so that's what I'm doing right now. Maybe that's causing my computer to glitch out for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. Part of the problem. If you have any questions, please let me know. Put them in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to answer. And even if you're on the rebroadcast, I go back and will look at all the comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about writing for commercials. So let's try that again. So that's what I'm wanting to create. Let's go. Screwed that last part up, but that's okay. Let's just re-record that real quick. So that last part right there is again. Alright, now that we have that part, let's do it again. And double it because this is going to be the left side. And then we've got to create kind of like a stereo pair, and it's going to give kind of a wash. So we can kind of mute these tracks now that we have the part written. And now we're going to create the right side. Let's rock and roll, baby. Here we go. Let me know where you're from in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the thumbs up. My name's Har Megiddo, and today we are writing a commercial for JoAnn's Fabrics, and this is their spring commercial. I've got the edit. This is a rough draft edit of the video up here for you to want to watch. And right now I'm giving them some Beach Boy guitars for the song, for the video. So here we go. And right away I was off. Every time I mess that part up, I'm going to redo it. Even though that was a pretty good take. Screwed that up. I don't know why it's glitching out right here. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. I'm writing music for a commercial right now, and for some reason, I'm just going to give you another tip while I freeze some of this stuff down. Like I said, my second tip is all about communication with your videographer. A lot of times they don't know what they're looking for. They don't know... they have something in their minds, and they'll send you some demo tracks, but a lot of the times you've got to try to understand how they're wanting to communicate with you. They're looking for a specific type of sound, and so they'll give you descriptors like, I want it to sound brighter, I want it to sound darker, I want it to sound more happy. That's one of the comments I got on the first draft that I did for this song, is they wanted it more happy, more upbeat. So I came back with kind of like this little happy, jumpy guitar line. Alright? So, and then they came back, they said they wanted the guitar brighter. So I found a brighter amplifier to go through the Stratocaster, and I am retracking the guitars. So hopefully they'll like this version. Here we go. We did it. Alright, let's listen back. Put this down. Let me know if you have any questions. Even if you're on the rebroadcast, I go back and answer any questions. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me the wow face if you like what you're hearing. So right now I'm just going to buff up the bumper side, bump up the buffer size so that we can mix a little bit, because I want to hear how this sounds. So that sounds pretty good. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these. So what I've done is I panned these guitars hard left and hard right. And now I'm going to so this little ditty was off just a little bit, so I'm just going to cut it and I'm going to move it just a tiny bit so that it's more in line. I kind of want just that that first hit to be right on the one. So in Ableton you can kind of slide stuff around so that it will hit correctly. Just for that first note, just to get it like bam. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Har Megiddo. I'm a DJ and producer, and right now I'm creating a custom song for JoAnn's fabric commercials. All right, and so I'm gonna start mixing a little bit. Some of the guitars. I've got this spring reverb right here. I'll show you. I've pulled up. This is a vintage Valhalla vintage reverb, and I've got it set on a setting. I'm going to try a couple of different things right now. So the videographer said that they wanted it, real organic sounding. So some of the tricks that I'm doing is, if you notice that like some of the parts don't hit exactly together, so that kind of gives it that organic feel. It kind of gives it that not necessarily sloppy, but it shows that there's, it was real organic instruments, not really. They said they didn't want it to sound computer sounding, so basically they don't want everything to hit on the one exactly how it's supposed to sound. So I'm going to add a couple of things to give it a more vintage feel. I'm going to put a tape, a Universal Audio stutter edit on there, which is going to be like running it through old tape to get it a really more, give it more of that classic sound, a little bit of saturation. If I can find the stutter edit, 1 second. Stutter. So let's find a good setting for our guitars. I give it this vintage setting. Let's listen to how that sounds. Alright, and I think, let's see, I think I had this Lexicon reverb at an interesting setting. Let's bump that up. Also by Universal Audio. It's a little high. Actually, I think it was this one. I think that one gives it. That one's kind of like my ambience reverb. I think this is more of a tail. So my third tip that I want to give you about recording songs for custom video, for I guess custom commercials, would be it's all about the video. So it's not about the music. It's all about the video. So you can't be offended if the videographer comes back and says, hey man, this doesn't work. And you're like, well, I've put like hours and hours into this track. And you just got to be like, okay, what didn't you like about it? What do you like about it? Do you want me to totally redo the whole thing? Do you want me to keep the beat and redo the guitar parts like we have in this situation? It took me a couple of times to kind of get the guitar part down that they liked, and then they were like, let's work on the tone. We want the tone to sound a little bit brighter. So I am back trying out different guitars, different amps. They said no, no, no. So maybe this time they'll say yes, maybe they'll like it this time. So you kind of just have to shoot an arrow into the dark, per se. It's kind of like that, but that's why communication is so important, and saying, well, can you send me something that you want it to sound like? Can you send me something that you want it to, is there a song out there that you have in your mind? Is there a guitar sound out there that you have in your mind for this example? And so it's all about the video. It's not about the music. The music is supposed to kind of accentuate what the video is trying to create, especially for a business. This is all about their business. They're trying to sell product. They're trying to promote a product. They're maybe promoting a sale. So you want to create an atmosphere for that commercial. So that's why it's all about the it's all about the video. It's not about the music. All right, so let's hear how this sounds. All right, so I want maybe a delay that's going to slap back, just to kind of give it an extreme slap back. Let me see what it sounds like when we do. And right now I'm just mixing. I'm going to try and throw in another reverb on here, because a lot of the samples they had is kind of like very reverb that they sent me. I'm going to try this room reverb. I'm going to try and see if I can dial something in. Maybe like a plate, a sizzle plate. We'll see how that sounds. because it really makes everything brighter. Let's hear how that sounds. So I'm going to get rid of this first, kind of like the second one, so it's more like. That'll kind of give it a little bit more diversity. So instead of it clank, 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 the first one's going to kind of give it room to breathe, kind of say, hey, this is the song. And then on the second time it goes through, it'll just be like skank, 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 skank. See? So that way it just kind of gives it a little bit more difference that you can kind of work on it with. So thank you so much for tuning in. These have been my tips and tricks on how to write custom music for video. If you have any questions, please comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. My name's Har Megiddo. Peace.